Have you ever met someone who never raises their voice, never says anything obviously cruel, and always manages to sound reasonable? They're polite, composed, maybe even charming. And yet, something about their presence makes you feel smaller, unsure of yourself, or strangely tense after each interaction. You search for a reason, but there's nothing solid to point to. No big argument, no betrayal, no outright offense. Just subtle shifts in how you feel. And that's exactly what makes it dangerous. Not all toxic behavior is loud. In fact, the most manipulative people are often the quietest. They operate in whispers, not shouts. They hide behind politeness, not aggression. And they know how to cross your boundaries so softly, you'll question yourself before you ever question them. This video is about those subtle behaviors, the kind that don't look harmful at first, but slowly chip away at your confidence, your clarity, and your sense of peace. We'll explore 3 psychological signs that someone may not be as trustworthy as they seem, even if they've never done anything obviously wrong. Because the truth is, trustworthy people don't just avoid bad behavior. They make you feel safe in your own mind. And when someone doesn't, it's not your imagination. It's a signal worth listening to. So if you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling a little more confused, a little more anxious, or a little more like you owe someone an explanation you never meant to give, this video is for you. Let's begin. 1. They undermine you with compliments. It sounds strange at first. How could a compliment ever be a red flag? But the truth is, not all praise is sincere. Some compliments are carefully crafted to disarm you, create confusion, or subtly diminish you while sounding supportive on the surface. These are the compliments that leave you feeling more self-conscious than confident. And they often come from people who don't want to lift you up. They want to keep you off balance. You've probably heard it before. You're actually pretty smart for someone so emotional. I wish I could just not care like you do. It must be so freeing. I could never pull off that outfit, but you're brave for trying. At first, these phrases seem harmless, even kind. But if you look closer, you'll see the hidden blade tucked inside the smile. These are called backhanded compliments, and they work by mixing validation with subtle criticism. The goal isn't to support you, it's to control how you see yourself. Psychologically, this tactic plants seeds of doubt. Instead of fully embracing your strength, you begin to question whether it's real. Am I actually confident or just brave for being different? Do they really admire me, or are they mocking me? Over time, these micro-comments wear down your self-image. You start seeking reassurance, playing small, or avoiding your natural expression just to avoid being judged again. The most manipulative part? When you try to express discomfort, they flip the script. Wow, I was just trying to be nice. Why are you so sensitive? Suddenly you're the problem for reacting, not them for provoking. This reversal is intentional. It teaches you to silence your instincts and doubt your own reactions. And that's exactly what makes it so dangerous. Trustworthy people build you up in a way that feels clean, clear, and empowering. Their words leave no bitter aftertaste. They don't lace compliments with control or kindness with superiority. So if someone's praise consistently makes you feel smaller, not stronger, believe the feeling. Respectful people don't weaponize words. They use them to uplift, not to dominate. 2. They always keep the power, even when apologizing. At first glance, an apology seems like a good sign, proof that someone is self-aware, accountable, and capable of reflection. But not all apologies are created equal. In fact, one of the subtlest signs of manipulation is how a person apologizes, without ever actually giving up control. Have you ever heard someone say, "I'm sorry you feel that way"? Or, "I guess I'm just a terrible person then"? Or even, "I said I'm sorry. What more do you want?" These aren't real apologies. They're disguised power plays. They shift attention away from the actual harm and back onto you, your tone, your reaction, your supposed oversensitivity. And slowly, you begin to question whether you were right to be hurt in the first place. This kind of behavior is what psychologists call deflective accountability. It's when someone avoids responsibility by technically acknowledging the issue, but emotionally dodging it. They say sorry to end the conversation, not to understand your pain. Their words might check all the boxes, but their energy says, "Let's move on. This is uncomfortable for me." And if you push for more clarity, they act like you're the one being unfair. What's worse, this dynamic often comes with emotional pressure. They may sigh dramatically, go quiet, or act wounded so you'll stop asking for clarity. Instead of making space for your feelings, they expect you to comfort them. Before long, you're doing emotional labor for the person who hurt you. And that's not resolution, it's role reversal. Genuine accountability isn't afraid of discomfort. It doesn't weaponize apologies. It holds space. A trustworthy person will say, "I understand what I did hurt you and I want to make it right." Not to win, not to move past it quickly, but to truly repair what was broken. So if someone's apologies leave you feeling guilty, ashamed, or silenced, pay close attention. That's not accountability, that's control in disguise. And no matter how soft the tone or sincere the expression seems, trust is never built on avoidance. 3. They use silence as a weapon, not a pause. Silence can be healing. It can be space to think, to feel, to breathe. But in the hands of the wrong person, silence becomes something else entirely. It becomes a weapon. One of the most subtle and damaging behaviors of untrustworthy individuals is their ability to use silence not to create peace, but to create power. Have you ever been met with sudden, unexplained silence after expressing a concern, setting a boundary, or showing vulnerability? You reach out, and there's no reply, no eye contact, no warmth. Just a heavy absence that lingers in the room like fog. It's not calm, it's calculated. That kind of silence is what psychologists refer to as emotional withdrawal, and it's often used to punish you for making them uncomfortable. What makes this tactic so harmful is its ambiguity. There's no yelling, no insults, nothing you can prove. Just the quiet tension of being ignored, avoided, or emotionally shut out. And because there's nothing concrete to point to, you start internalizing the discomfort. Did I do something wrong? Should I have said it differently? Maybe I'm asking for too much. And just like that, your voice shrinks. Your boundaries soften. You begin to apologize just to restore harmony, even when you weren't the one who broke it. Manipulative silence teaches you a dangerous lesson. If I speak honestly, I lose connection. And that conditioning runs deep. You stop asking for what you need. You tolerate more than you should. And worst of all, you start seeing emotional coldness as your fault. But here's the truth. Healthy people don't punish you for being honest. They might need a moment, but they return. They engage. They process. Their silence is a pause, not a power move. If you find yourself constantly walking on eggshells, fearing that honesty will lead to distance, it's time to reevaluate. Silence should never be used to create fear, confusion, or control. And when it is, it's one of the clearest signs that someone cannot be trusted with your truth. The most dangerous people in your life often won't scream, won't insult, and won't lash out. They'll compliment you with a crooked smile, apologize without meaning it, or withdraw into silence just long enough to make you doubt yourself. And because their behavior never quite crosses the obvious line, you hesitate to call it what it is: manipulation. But here's what you need to remember. Just because harm is subtle doesn't mean it's small. In fact, subtle emotional harm is often the most corrosive. It wears you down slowly, quietly, until one day you can't remember what confidence felt like, or when you started filtering your words, or why you stopped trusting your gut. You don't need a dramatic reason to walk away from someone who leaves you feeling small. You don't need proof or permission or a perfectly logical explanation. You only need this: your peace matters more than someone else's comfort. If this video helped you see a situation more clearly, or validated something you've been feeling but couldn't explain, let us know in the comments. You're not alone, and your voice matters here. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to Mindful Sphere. Every day we share content like this, focused on protecting your energy, deepening your self-trust, and helping you move through life with more clarity, power, and peace. Hit the like button if this resonated with you. It tells the algorithm to share this message with more people who need it. And if there's someone in your life who might benefit from this, consider sharing it with them. Sometimes, just one insight is enough to protect someone's entire future. Because once you see the subtle signs, you won't unsee them again. And that awareness, that's where your freedom begins.